What's going on, CUT Collective? It is so good to be with you this week as we unpack and come here for the CUT Sunday Sermon Rewind. We're going to look back on the sermon from September 29th today, which is the concluding sermon in the Live Life More Abundant series. And so today I have, for the first time in the rewind, we're going to shout it out to Reverend Roderick Norton. He has eluded us in the past, but today we nailed him down. And so Reverend Rod spoke, his sermon title was Speak Abundance into Your Life. Speak Abundance into your life. And so we're going to really look at how we bringing this all together, that we've been talking about prosperity from all of these different angles. And I feel like this Sunday is like an activation Sunday. Like we're going to activate prosperity in your experience. Let's see, you're welcome to add into the comments. Remember that this is a dynamic conversation, so you can add into the comments any questions that you have. We may answer them just in the conversation, or you may get an answer later on. But I'm really excited about this. We want to make sure that you understand prosperity so that you can have more prosperity in your life. Prosperity, a very good thing, right? So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about money too. Okay, so we're going to do it all today, and have a great experience. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome Reverend Rod into the scene. What's going on?
Hey, it's good to be here. What you say? I've been eluding you guys for a while, huh? I'm glad you knelt me down.
I know. Reverend Rod said, "Yeah, you just gotta get on my calendar the right way." Like he's we do things by the seat of our pants here sometimes at the Rewind. So no, Reverend Rod it works in order, and listen, that makes sense because prosperity, you got to have order to have prosperity.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's the first law of the universe. And
first law of the universe.
Oh
my gosh,
so much is going on with everybody. I just just nail me down. Just give me advance notice, and I'll make myself available.
Yeah, well, listen. I've learned that, so we're so excited to be able to share this with you. Now, here's one of the things, right? Because Reverend Rod, like, I'm introducing him to the Rewind, but Reverend Rod is CUT, all up intricately woven into it. But Reverend Rod has another ministry as well. Would you just share just a tidbit about your ministry?
Yeah, my ministry is the Empowerment Center for Better Living, and I love it. I mean, I think it's definitely my calling. I love what I do there, and the people come, they tend to love it as well. And I just like it. It's really just an outgrowth of everything that I've done at CUT, whenever I make myself available. I make myself available to Christ Universal Temple because that's my home church. That's my church, and will always be my church. And so I always make myself available. So I try to swing both of them, the Empowerment Center and Christ Universal Temple, and do what I can do, because I really love this new thought message and what it has done for me, and if I can spread it to others, however, in whatever vehicle I can use, I do it. And the Empowerment Center for Better Living is the vehicle that God has given me, and I do it through the Empowerment Center for Better Living.
Good. Listen, it's all good. I love when families play well together, right?
Yes, and we play well together.
Yes. So shout out to the Empowerment Center. We're glad to have your spiritual leader in the seat. So just so that for those maybe catching us for the first time, I want to let you know that essentially what I'm going to do is pull clips. I pull clips from this powerful sermon that was live at CUT on September 29th, and we're just going to break it apart. Now, remember, those of you who are part of the collective, and you know that you can join us on Facebook at the Collective Worldwide, that's our main way of communicating right now. What I'm going to do, and I have promised for the community who is abroad, people abroad like WhatsApp, and so we're building a community on WhatsApp as well. But in the meantime, find us on Facebook and then subscribe, follow, so that you can get alerts when things go live there, because those will be the heartbeats of the online ministry as we move forward and keep growing and expanding. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up the first clip. Reverend Rod, let me tell you, you laid out what I always think about is like, what's the truth? right? You started off with what the truth that God wants you to experience abundance in every area of your life. And that if you don't get that, then you need to rewind really back to other sermons because you may not feel worthy.
Yeah. And like I did that. I really did that on purpose. I wanted to start the lesson off with that, with that universal statement that part of our beliefs. It is God's will that every individual on the face of this earth should live a healthy, happy, and prosperous life.
Yes.
That covers everything.
Yeah.
It leaves absolutely nothing out. It includes your health, it includes your relationships, it includes your money, it includes your family, it includes everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I just felt the need to intentionally begin the lesson with that.
All right, well, let's hear it. I think I pulled the clip that's about that. We'll see.
Okay.
Let's be surprised together.
Yes.
God wants to see you experience greater abundance in all areas of your life. God's will for us is a life of abundance. An abundance of health, an abundance of happiness, an abundance of good relationships, and an abundance of money. I like an abundance of money. I like an abundance of money. I like an abundance of money. I also like an abundance of good relationships. I like having good people around me. And I don't want just one or two good folks around me, but if all I have are one or two good ones, then that's fine. But I like to have an abundance of good people around me. I like to have an abundance of health. I don't want just a little bit of health. I want a little bit of anything. But I definitely don't want just a little bit of health. I want an abundance of health. What about you?
So I pulled that clip because I thought it set the tone so well. And I want to ask you, do you like an abundance of money?
Oh, I love an abundance of money. I love an abundance of money.
We got one for the conscious mind, for the super conscious mind, for the subconscious mind. That
absolutely.
But I think that it is important for. I think that sometimes when we are talking about life more abundantly, there can be some issues around talking about money. Like it feels like, well, if I want money, if I desire more money, that there's something wrong, right? Mm-hmm. That I'm not as spiritual.
Right. I mean, like I said, there's still the stigma. There's still this mindset that people have concerning money. And you would think in this day and age that the mindset would be different. For some folks, it is different, but for other folks, it's not. When Johnny Coleman was coming and bringing this message to us, she was attacked hard concerning money because during that period of time where she was doing her ministry, it just wasn't really talked about. It was talked about. If you did talk about it, it was looked upon negatively. Whereas now, across the board, it's talked about, regardless of denomination. But there's still this certain mindset out there that people have concerning money, and the way they look at other people that have money, and want to tell other people that, oh, you don't need that much money. What you need that much money for? And my thing is, if you had that much money, you would probably enjoy it.
That's right.
So stop telling other folks what they should be doing with their money, or if they have too much money from your perspective. And just really work on you, because really I believe that you say that when people say that, it's really because they have a desire to have more. Mm-hmm. But because they don't have more and they don't have the awareness of the consciousness to have more, then as I look at other folks, then I want to begin to judge what they have, why they have it, and begin to even talk about how they got it.
Right. Yeah. No, just all the other folks' business.
Like all up in other folks' business when you really just need to be up in your own business, take care of your own business, and really fulfilling your desires,
Yeah. If I haven't learned anything else,
I don't have an issue with money. I believe most folks don't have an issue with money, and the thing is, just be honest about it. Right. is that you do have this desire, you just simply might not know how to fulfill it.
Right. Yeah. No. And that's and it can be buried, right? Mm-hmm. Like your desire for a financially abundant life could be buried beneath a lot of different things. Like when you lose money a couple times, if you have, suffered some big L's, had some debt experiences, it's like,
Right.
it feels like, well, I don't want it because I remember not having it.
Mm-hmm.
And so this, so shifting, because I like to think about, who am I talking to right now? Like right now, I'm talking to that person because I've been in so many different levels of money. I'm talking to that person who's gotten caught into a pattern, right? And it's like, I keep producing more debt. Like that's really kind of what it boils down to. And you shared a sermon point. I'm going to pull that up.
Okay.
That our words have the power to shape our world. And so that part right there is, we could talk for hours just on that our words have power to shape our world. But about this topic, they have power to create the good we desire and to manifest abundance. They are the vehicle through which we express our desires, our hopes, and our dreams, our words. So your premise statement, it gives us an opportunity to move out of these grooves of not having enough, right? And in here, we can keep unpacking this. How do I shift? Because like you said, we all want an abundant life. Healthy, happy, prosperous life is a universal desire,
Yeah. Who wants to go around? I mean, really, who wants to go around broke all the time? Who wants to go around with bad health all the time? Who wants to go around fighting because you don't have good relationships all the time? What kind of life really is that? What kind of life is that? We inside the truth of our being is that we all want to be happy.
Right.
The truth of our being is that we have that we have innate desires, and we want to be happy in all areas of our life, to the point where we don't have to worry about it. And understand this, when we talk about this whole aspect of money, it's all relative, in the sense of someone who's making 50,000, they might be totally fine with that, and is doing exactly what they needed to do. Someone who's making 500,000, they might be totally fine, is doing exactly what they needed to do. And someone might be making 5 million, and they might be satisfied, or they might not be satisfied. It might not be, So it's all relative. You have to, when it comes to the money aspect of it, you have to decide on what it is that's that you're desirous of. What is it that you want, and be okay with it. Be okay with it. Everyone doesn't have to be a millionaire or a billionaire, or everyone doesn't have to be that. Determine what it is that you want to do, what you want to have, and just let it come from the truth of your being. What is that? What makes you happy?
That's why you don't have time. That's why you don't have time to be up in other people's business, is because that, like, really just getting down to what you want. I had a good friend who would constantly talk about how she wanted a private jet. It was like the private travel was that's her happy spot. That's her better life. That's her life more abundant. And I worked with that because I was thinking, why don't I want a private jet? I happen to have some information about private travel, and I love private travel. I don't want a jet though. Right. I want a best friend with a jet. I don't want to deal with the jet issues, but I do want to travel. But it took me a moment to get to what was prosperous for me. And that was, and maybe one day that will become a thing that's on my list. But right now, that's me grabbing at other people's wants and desires.
Right.
So you connected in the lesson this idea of that our words have the power to shape our world, but that it starts with our thinking. So that right there to me is, again, just thinking about those keys that help us unlock the treasure in our mind, right? Is that it's our thinking. Our thinking precedes our words. And you said that we hold ideas in mind longer than we need to hold them. So talk to me a little bit about how that impacts your prosperity.
When you have an idea in mind, you work with the idea in mind, and as you are working with the idea in mind, understand that it cannot just simply stay in the mind. At some point you have to move it from the mind into manifestation. At some point you have to speak it out. At some point you have to act upon it. So so it begins in mind. It begins with you accepting a divine idea. And as you accept the divine idea, then you begin to apply some right thinking towards that divine idea, and you begin to shape and form it in your mind. You begin to image it. And one of the things I tried to do with this particular lesson, so I tried to tie in a little bit of some of the previous lessons that were taught, particularly like Galen talked about treasure mapping the previous week. And gave the people an exercise in that. Derek talked about sowing and giving. He also talked about prosperity, doing a couple of the other lessons earlier in the month. I tried to sort of like piggyback a little bit on those things and how you work with those things. And as you begin to work with those things, hold them in mind, work with them in mind, and begin at some point you speaking it out. That becomes an activating power that you have as you begin to speak it out, because now I haven't just held it in mind, but now I am speaking it into existence for myself. I'm speaking it into existence because now I have accepted this thing as a belief. Now I'm not just simply mouthing off words, just simply saying stuff. The words that I speak now, because now I'm very careful with the words.
Right.
That's one of the things I really try to bring out. Now, after you have worked with it in mind, you have to be very careful with the words as you speak it out. And you have to be careful with the words that you are speaking. Make sure that the words that you are speaking are in alignment with that which you are working with in mind. Because you want it all in alignment, and you want your words now to be part of your belief system.
Yes. It is. I like the way that I could feel the build, right? Where we get to how do we, because this is the thing, this is practical Christianity. So
exactly.
It's not just knowing a bunch of stuff. It's like, how do I actually shift my life based on these teachings? So I want to play this clip. Because you jump all over the power of the spoken word and the power and the potency of your word. This one is about change, I think.
Okay.
I can create and heal and change things through the power of my spoken word, because that which I say is nothing but a reflection of a state of consciousness, a consciousness that can be changed. Don't ever think you cannot be changed. You can be changed. Don't ever say, don't stop saying to yourself, well, this is the way I am. What comes up, comes out. Everything that comes up should not come out.
I love that because I think that sometimes we don't think we can control what we say. Have you? I know I've been that person, but to be around that person, it's like, oh, you really do just think that what you think, it comes out. Like,
yeah. I have been around people who have just simply said that, and they think it's okay. It's like if it's in whatever comes up has to come out. I've been around people who have literally said that, and I listen to what is coming out, and I say, and I just tell myself, like, all you do is tell me you have no self-control over yourself. You have no self-control over what's going to come out your mouth, over your thinking, over what's going on inside your subconscious. You're telling me that you're allowing all kind of stuff to go on inside in your being, and that might be one of the reasons why stuff seems to be the way they are.
Yeah.
Outside, because
it's important to understand, I think, that one, you have control over yourself. That was the part that you can change. Because I think that I know that I talk to people, and there's several factors that play into them believing that they can't change. And a lot of it is like, I've been this way a long time. Like, if you've been a person that just says whatever comes to your mind, coming into this teaching, there's some adjustments, because we talk about the power of affirmation. We talk about the power of denial. And so we want you to understand that your words matter. And I think that that's what I took away with more in this sermon. Like, wait a minute, the words I'm speaking are impacting my flow. Like, wake up to that again,
Yeah. And once again, like I said, your words are a reflection of your consciousness. Your words are a reflection of what's going on, what you're holding in mind, what you're holding in consciousness. As Johnny Coleman would say, I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that makes the things. So if I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that makes the things, then guess what? I also have the power to change what I am thinking. Therefore, I also have the power to change the words that are proceeding, that's coming forth out of my mouth. You know? It just, do I want to change?
Yeah.
Do I want to change? Let me stop coming up with excuses for why I can't change. Do I want to change? If I want to change, then guess what? I can change. It's just a matter of me putting the effort to do what I need to do. It's a matter of me putting the effort to create new images in my mind, me putting the effort to create new thoughts, me putting the effort to watch the words that I say, understand that my words have power. As I send forth my word, my word will accomplish that which I send it forth to do.
Yes, I can bear witness. This next clip, there's a just popped into my head because I titled it "What Comes Out," but it's when you squeeze an orange, what comes out, right? Like orange juice, right? You're gonna get it when you get squeezed. What comes out? So this is this clip. You didn't use that metaphor, but it just popped into my head because the truth works. The truth works.
There's power in your spoken words. You ought to be careful as far as what's coming out. It's a reflection of my consciousness. So since my words are a reflection of my consciousness, then the place I need to begin to work on, if I do not like my words, the place I need to start working on is what? My consciousness. If I want to experience more abundance, and if I want to begin to speak abundance into my life, let's make sure that my consciousness has been changed to a level that will be reflective of the words that I say, so that when I do speak, abundance shows up.
So just real quick, give me a definition of consciousness, because it's important.
We always say consciousness is awareness or aware of. Awareness is like the one word that we always use as far as conscious. What consciousness is awareness, but but consciousness is awareness. My thing is consciousness is awareness of your God self.
Yeah,
that's not. For me, that's the highest level of consciousness. Just simply being aware of your God self. And if you are aware of your God self, then your thoughts will also come from that awareness. And your feelings, your attitudes, your beliefs, all that is part of your consciousness, or makes up your consciousness. So all of that will also begin to get into alignment with your God self. So consciousness overall is the awareness of your is really the awareness of your total being. Or how much are you aware of your total being?
Right.
So we all operate on different levels of consciousness
at different times of the day. Sometimes
at different times of the day. I could be at my God highest self in the morning, or I could be at maybe my lowest human self in the morning, depending on how I roll out of bed. So, but depending on the time of the day, we operate on different levels of consciousness, And but we have to be. But it is up to us though to be aware of what level we're operating on at a certain time, even doing conversations that we're having with others, and understanding that when we are in conversations with others, that what we allow ourselves to take in, it can affect our consciousness.
And
we allow ourselves to take in some beliefs that are not to our highest, that other folks are speaking. So we have to be careful what we allow, what we allow to come in. I tell people all the time, don't mess with my consciousness, because I spent a long time. I spent many years in trying to build myself up to the level where I currently am. And I'm still working on building myself up to even higher levels so I can express even more. So I say, just don't mess with my consciousness. Don't bring a whole lot of stuff into my experience, into my existence. I'm not gonna listen to a down and out story too long. I might,
It matters.
I might entertain you for a few minutes, but number one, you're only going to bring me your story one time. You're not going to keep recycling the story. We're not going to keep having the same conversation over and over because not only is it affecting you because you need to get over it, but it begins to affect me if I continue to allow myself to even entertain you with that, So
Yeah.
it's like, I gotta be careful, and you have to be careful. Everyone has to be careful of what they're allowing themselves to take in from other people, and also our own self-talk.
Yeah. And it's what you're, so I love that idea because we're guardians of our own mind, right?
Mhm.
And I can't say that I have completely absorbed the lesson of don't bring me any, and don't bring me no bad news. What I need to know is where you are. Meaning, do you want me to listen? Are you venting? Are you ready to shift? Like that way I can be available for you or nor if I can be available.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the biggest thing. If somebody lays something heavy in your lap and you weren't in a receptive capacity for that, meaning that your heaviness, I'm not at a space of my awareness where your heaviness doesn't start to weigh me down. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that consciousness is a real important concept, I think, to continue to wrap ourselves around, because the way that I look at it is, if you want to know what what level of consciousness you're at, and I don't mean levels like there's a level 20 consciousness.
Right.
I mean, if you want to know like what's going on in your consciousness, what's your dominant energy level, just look at your life.
Mm-hmm.
Your life will tell you, because your life is a reflection of what you hold in consciousness. So if I am doing really, really well from a health space and my relationships are in the toilet, then I know that, wait a minute, I'm consciously aware of God as my abundant health, and I have some space to grow as it relates to God as my abundant love, like as that harmony in my life. I've got some opportunities there. And then when I listen to lessons like this, I'm tuned in a different way because I recognize that I'm trying to shift my own experience.
Right.
That's the pattern of practical Christianity, like making it work for you.
Making it work for you. I had an experience, piggyback a little bit on something you just said, but I had an experience some years back where a coworker of mine came up to me and wanting to vent. So after he had said everything he said, I was going to give an opinion. And he was like, Rod, I didn't want to really know what you thought. I just wanted to that was a lesson for me.
Yeah.
That was a lesson for me. That was a huge lesson for me.
Sometimes I have to get those lessons over and over again. It'll be like, it's also, wait.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a question? Like, because I'm getting ready to answer something, but maybe there was no question posed,
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that it's powerful. This is the other, when it comes down to it, why you need to mind your own business is because you got so much going on in your own awareness. And if you are, up and giving advice to everybody who comes your way and sneezes, you got advice on how to stop the sneeze. You know what I mean? Like it's, nobody asked you. Nobody asked you. Pay attention to yourself. Where are you leaking attention out there in the ethers with other people, as opposed to putting that attention on what's going on in your mind? Because we're all setting new intentions for abundance. That's why you were magnetic to this lesson. Whatever caused you to click onto this rewind, you're magnetic to it because there's a readiness in your soul for greater abundance. And I'm prayerful that this series is going to help you, because Rod said that your words are a reflection of your thoughts. And I'm like, sometimes I need to be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
If my words are a reflection of my thoughts, some of the things I say do not need to be said, like, because I don't want to eat them.
Sometimes we need to just simply listen to what we say. Sometimes I think we don't really listen to what we are saying, what is actually coming out of our mouths,
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, like I said, sometimes we just need to listen to what we say, because if we begin to pay attention a little bit to what we are saying, then we'll just stop and say, "Oh my God, does it really come out of my mouth?" I guess there is more work I need to do You know,
Yeah.
one of the things that I have learned how to do personally, and I think because it has to do with me being a minister and all, but is I listen to people and what they say, and whether they are talking to me directly, or whether they're talking in a group or whatever. I spend a lot of time listening,
Mhm.
and as I spend time listening, uh, uh, I think I shake my head on the inside sometimes, like it's like okay, they're taking all these classes. They've been in truth. They say they've been in truth for so long, and they they're still saying some of the things that they are saying. Some of
Yeah.
these words are still coming out their mouths, and they really don't realize. They think they think they're in one space, but they're actually in a different space.
Yeah.
They don't really realize the words that are really coming out their mouths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, as a teacher, as a friend, when you see somebody who's struggling with the same thing over and over again, um, one, just kind of detaching from that result, but just remembering that one of the ways you can be available for someone is to experience good in your life. One of the ways that you can help shake people out of their own cycles and their own grooves of misery is
Mhm.
by being happy and by experiencing your greater abundance, because that will draw people up. It's like, wait a minute,
Yes.
if she could do it, like we sat next to each other, if she could do it. But there's
Yeah.
a higher level of intent, and that's what this next clip is about. You talk
Okay.
about the power of intention with your words. Let's hear.
What is the intention behind you saying what you say? Isaiah 55:11 says, so shall my word be that goes out from my mouth. It shall not return to me empty, but it shall accomplish that which I purpose and succeed in the thing for which I sent it. So what is the intent of your word? Understanding that as you speak it, as you say it, as you put the word out there, that the word is going to go out there and it is going to fulfill a certain purpose.
So the question that you pose and that I'm just going to pop up here is, do your words achieve the purpose for which they were sent? Right?
Yes. Yes. And once again, I think we could tie that back into consciousness. Do your words achieve the purpose for which the words were sent? You sent some words out there. Did it achieve it?
Mm-hmm.
When the universe answered you,
Yeah.
when the universe answered you, did it align with the words that you sent out there?
Yeah. But I think it's like, when you're getting ready to speak, I always say this, do I want to walk into those words? Right?
Mhm.
Because essentially what I'm doing is activating the power and presence of God, right? I'm saying, give me what I'm speaking. So do I want to go and walk into what I just said, whatever that energy is? So when I'm complaining, it's like, do I want to walk into more experiences to complain about?
Mhm.
If I'm feeling like somebody did me dirty, do I want to walk into more experiences where people appear to do me dirty? Like, you are like, that's how powerful we are.
Yeah.
That your words achieve the purpose from what you send it. That scripture is,
That's a
we think
powerful
about it like, yeah, so shall I be, about my words. They, they don't come back empty. It's like, yes, but wait a minute. Your words don't come back empty.
Yeah. Think about that. Your words don't come back empty. Your words are loaded. One of the things that works for me, which I think is part of the wonderful thing about affirmation, but one of the things that works for me and that I think can be very helpful for anybody is that if I know that my words will not come back empty, if I know that I must send forth my words with an intention, then one of the things I do is I speak the word. I speak into existence that which I want to experience. So as I continue to speak that into existence, that which I want to experience, I begin to walk in it.
Yeah.
It might not be showing up physically yet, but there's something that happens on the inside of me. There's an excitement that begins to happen on the inside of me. There's an enthusiasm that begins to bubble up on the inside of me as I continue to speak these words, because now there's an expectation.
Yeah.
I set the intention, and now there's an expectation. So as I speak these words of abundance, as I speak these words of more health, as I speak these words of better relationships, I begin to have this enthusiasm. I begin to have this expectation. I begin to have this expectation as I begin to speak it, because I know there's power in these words. I know my words cannot come back empty. So I know there must be a fulfillment. So now I'm looking for the fulfillment now.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the fulfillment. I'm looking for that purpose to now be manifested.
Yes. So, all right, I have 5 more clips and we have 10 more minutes. So let me
do what you got to do.
But listen, no, here's the thing, because when I need you back, I want you to come back. So let me keep it order. Okay. All right. So this place, we're rolling in the same conversation. These clips are riding the conversation. Here's here's one on your return on investment.
I have high expectations for my word. When I send my word out, I'm waiting for the return. When I send my word out, I'm waiting for great dividends to come back into my life, because I've invested a lot in my words. And when I invest a lot in anything, I'm looking for a good return.
So wait. I'm getting ahead of myself. So wait a minute. So I want to talk about this when you know the power that you hold, right? Mm-hmm. So there's one to catch it and get that I'm creating things I don't want to experience. It's another level of awareness, of consciousness, when you get that my words are so powerful that they literally go out and activate the good. So I'm expecting, like you said, a return on my investment. I got power in my word. I'm going to experience the fruit of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when you understand the power of your word, now there comes a responsibility. There comes responsibility. There comes a responsibility of making sure that I am properly using my words, how I'm using my words, where my words have been directed. There comes a responsibility now. When I know the power of my words, I'm no longer ignorant.
Yeah.
Now I am aware of the power of my words. So now I take on this responsibility. And as I take on this responsibility, yes, I expect a dividend if I'm going to invest myself into changing from the way I used to talk to new words now, from the way I used to think, to begin to think differently now. I expect a dividend.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of our teaching is that as you change, life changes for you.
That's right. Yeah.
And there ought to be an expectation. As you sow, so shall you reap. I think Reverend Wells gave that a couple of weeks ago. There should be a expectation of a dividend if I'm going to invest in my words, if I'm going to invest in changing the way I think, that I expect the dividend. I expect something greater to show up, and that greater will. But you have to understand that you have to accept the responsibility. You have to accept this new responsibility, and you have to stick with it.
Yeah,
you have to stick. Yeah. You can't be going back and forth on this thing. It's like once again, I talk about dividends. It's like the stock market. You can't wait. The stock market changes every day, and one of the this is coming out later on in some writings I'm doing, but I bought 1,000 shares of Amazon. Back way in the day when Amazon was, when they were talking about the stock market, the .com might bust and whatnot, and all these .com companies were going down. and I had 1,000 shares of Amazon, and I held on to it for a while, but I began to buy into a lot of other stuff, and I ended up selling it. I ended up selling all those, and if I had kept my 1,000 shares of Amazon, I would be sitting under someone's coconut tree right now on my own island. My whole point of this is that if you're going to invest, stick with it.
Yeah.
If you're going to invest in something good, you're going to invest in good words, you're going to invest in good thinking, stick with it, because the dividends,
yeah,
are worth it. That's where your abundance comes in. That's where your abundance of health comes in. That's where your abundance of money comes in. That's where your abundance of happiness comes in.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, you got to buy and you got to hold. Some
stuff you got to dump. Other stuff, you got to know when to hold it, though.
Yeah, listen, that's the entire, when you think about the purpose of building conscious awareness of God, is that you are in constant contact with wisdom, and wisdom can see bigger than the people advising you sometimes, but you gotta, it's so, there's so much good to it. You mentioned loaded words. I think this clip is about your loaded words. Okay. I think we may do this one and one more.
Okay.
We speak is loaded, ready to express itself in our life. Every word you speak is loaded with potential. So have a definite purpose for your words. If every word I speak is loaded with potential, let me use that potential for my benefit. I'm looking to experience life more abundantly. So let me use the words that I say, since it's loaded with potential. I want to use that potential. God has given me potential so that I can express the greater life, so that I can express greater abundance. God has given me potential for a reason. God doesn't give you potential so potential can just sit there and do nothing. That's no longer potential.
Yes. I say you were designed on purpose for a purpose, and it's not just one thing.
It's not just one thing.
It's not just one thing.
You say you were designed on purpose for a purpose, right? When we were designed with a whole body of potential, and not just like you just said, not potential just do one thing, but potential. But potential to do a whole bunch of things in various areas. But you have to know. But you have to know your area. You have to know that you are loaded with potential. But if we just simply go back to Genesis, when we look at the allegory of the creation story, when God spoke into existence, when that was the sign of potential.
Right.
There was, at first they say there was a void, there was something empty, and God spoke into existing into existence. Your words are loaded. God's words were loaded. Just looking at it from the allegorical standpoint.
Yeah.
Your words are loaded. You have potential in every word that you say. The words that you say have the potential to bring you great rewards. The words you have to say has potential to heal your body. Sometimes you need to talk to your body. Your words have potential to heal your body. Your words have the potential to bring harmony into your home. So you have a greater abundance of peace in your home. If you just begin to look at your words and study your words and begin to spew out some new words, you can find harmony in your home. Your words have potential to bring forth harmony in the home.
That's powerful. It's good reminders too, because I think that sometimes when we are going through a crisis one time, we start to really work with these spiritual tools, and they work, and then we forget to use them again. And so I'm reminded to bless my home.
Yes.
To bless my home, to bless the energy, to bless that when you walk in. I love people walk in and say, "Oh, it feels so good in here." Like, I have charged this atmosphere for that, just for you. For you.
Yeah.
There's a clip I'm gonna play. This might be the last one, but I want to ride out on then what do we do? So we're getting the potency of our words. And so now what can I do to activate now this power with this new awareness? So this one helps us to get there, I think. Let's see.
Okay.
In other words, Jesus said, when my consciousness is lifted up from the physical realm, from all the other stuff that's going on, when my consciousness is lifted up from the physical realm to the spiritual realm, where all things are possible, I will draw all like things unto me according to this uplifted consciousness in the spiritual realm. And I will speak from this consciousness and manifest from this new awareness. I will lift up my consciousness to the spiritual realm where all things are possible, where I begin to work with God and all the divine ideas of God, where I begin to see the possibilities, and I begin to speak from this awareness.
So I love how it's first be quiet. I think. First be quiet. Check out what's going on in your world, right? Like
Right.
what level of awareness are you speaking from? Are you speaking from the amount of money in your bank account? Right? Because that may be a different song. You know, I know that there are times when it's like, you know, I got it, I can spend it. And then you look at your account, you're like, oh, there's not enough. Right. And not that spending excessively is a symptom of abundance, because it does not have to be that way. I spent my way into debt before. Had a great time catching the check. I got it. And it was like I wasn't operating in integrity, which is where you really work with at the end, I think. So talk to us a little bit about, I'll throw up one of the statements you gave us, to be impeccable with our word. How does being impeccable with our word help us with our prosperity consciousness?
See, no, that's a good one. Like I said, I get that from the 4 agreements, and that's one that I keep around all the time. Being impeccable with your words, it helps you because it helps you because it always it brings to top of mind that as I speak this, whatever words I'm speaking, whatever language I'm speaking, whatever conversations I'm in, then let me make sure that the words that I am speaking, they are in alignment with my higher self. They're in alignment with absolute good. They're in alignment with life. They're in alignment with substance. They're in alignment with wisdom. They're in alignment with God. They're in alignment with this Christ mind. So me being impeccable with my word means that first I am speaking from a higher level, a spiritual level. I'm not just talking from a surface or a materiality or a human place, but me being impeccable with my words is that as I speak a word, as I have conversations, that the conversations that I have, they are in alignment with my highest self. And as long as my conversations are in alignment with my higher self, I will experience greater. I will experience abundance. I will experience prosperity. I will experience good relationship as long as my words are in alignment with my higher self. But if I begin to speak words that are not in alignment with my higher self, then I am no longer in integrity with my words. I'm no longer in integrity with my higher self. Yeah. I have now removed myself from being in integrity with my higher self, because now I'm speaking words of poverty. What does poverty have to do with God?
That's right.
And now if I'm speaking words of sickness, what does sickness have to do with God? If I'm speaking words of hate, what does hate have to do with God? All those words or that language, that's out of integrity. You're not being impeccable with your word. When God created, go back to Genesis, how God created, and begin to work that same way. I love what Jesus said, and I can't remember the I think I want to say it was in John, but Jesus was telling his disciples that as you see me work, or as you see me speak, or as you hear me speak, I work or I speak according to how I have seen my Father work and speak. So I've never heard God speak poverty. I've never heard God, speak sickness. I've never heard God speak any hate. I've never heard God speak any of that. So let me see. Let me see how Jesus worked. Let me see how God worked.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see how Jesus talked. Was talking.
Yeah.
Let me see how God spoke into existence. And
Yeah.
let me align myself with those examples. And then I am in integrity with my words, and I am impeccable then with my words. And I can then create some wonderful things, you know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. That getting into that alignment, I think it is, I think it's just so powerful. So so one thing you'll learn about me, Reverend Rod, is that I typically pull too much for the time we have together. So here's the thing: go watch the sermon. Like, there is such potency that we couldn't discuss. We can talk for hours and not get through and unpack all of the wonderful truth that was shared. So I want to encourage you to go to youtube.com and just go to CU Temple, and you will find this sermon September 29, and you'll be able to enjoy it. So I just want to thank you again for it's your first time in the rewind. Now we can't say nothing. Now we can't say nothing.
I appreciate being here. I appreciate the invitation, and I appreciate everything's in order. And let me just say, you are doing a fantastic job with the rewind. You know,
Thank
you are doing
you.
a fantastic job with the rewind, and keep on keeping on, and continue allowing God to be God in and through you, and just allow it to just continue to express and do what you're doing, because what you're doing right now is making a difference. It's making a
Thank
difference.
you.
It's making a
Thank you.
difference, seriously.
Well, it takes two to make a thing go right. So I appreciate that. For those who are watching and clicking in, however you're finding these, I just want to say thank you for being here. Go ahead and join our Facebook community so that you can stay in the loop on what we're doing. We're really just getting started. There is high intention for serving you and supporting you in your spiritual growth in ways that you haven't even thought about. We are thinking about them. We're praying about them. We're holding space for it. And so we'll be back next week. We're going to be just a little hint into what we have moving forward is that this is anniversary month starting in October. And so what we're going to do is talk about the heartbeat of the church. We're going to talk about the history, the legend, the legacy, and really some of the foundational work that was laid for us. So it's going to be fun. Like I'm looking forward to some fun stories. I always like to hear people's origin stories. So I got to get you back because I don't know your origin story with New Thought. So we're going to talk about your origin story. And,
that'd be awesome.
well, yeah, isn't that fun? So we'll talk about that. But just be well, everyone. God bless you real good. Have a beautiful, love-filled, and joy-filled day. God bless.